Hello, everyone. This is author, motivational speaker, and dating coach Matthew C. Horne. And I'll bring you a video tonight titled Bypassing Her Hard Sell and Calling Her to the Front of the Congregation. Man, I got one for you tonight, man. You better tune in. It's brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life. In addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available at my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And to continue to push me up the algorithm so I can continue to bring you these elevated messages. But I'm bringing you a treat. I just released my previous video, maybe around midnight, 11 o'clock. And it was titled, Sexually Attractive Men Never Let Women Alter Their Movements. So I want you all to check that one out. But I got two for you tonight, back to back. It's the end of the month. I want to make sure I'm doing right by you all. But tonight, we have Bypassing Her Hard Sell and Calling Her to the Front of the Congregation. This is a message about sex and how women sell sex and manipulation that surrounds sex through the different ages, okay? So I want to go through the 20s to about the late 40s, okay? Because after that, I mean, let's be for real, man. Ain't shit after that, But I want to break some things down to you in terms of how these women are going to sell sex to you and how you need to be very direct and call them to the front of the congregation. Let them know what it takes to enter and remain in your space. So we'll start off with the 20-something-year-old woman, okay? This is up until 28. Okay, so we're talking 21 to 27. These women are so inundated by favorable offerings from quality sexually attractive men that they don't have to sell a damn thing to you. They are the experience. They don't have to sell an experience to you. There's nothing that they have to mask because they're in the prime of their beauty, the prime of their fertility, into masculine, sexually attractive men on a conscious and unconscious level. That is the most appealing woman that you can possibly have. So let's break her down, okay? That 21 to 27-year-old woman, she's in the space of everyone's young and looking the best they're ever going to look in their life, okay? The young guys in her age group, she's having kickbacks with her friends. Maybe they might be college graduates, making a little bit of money, traveling, doing all the stuff that young, successful people do. And so she's inundated and she's in the space of quality young men. And those quality young men are not looking younger because they're so young. There's no point in looking younger. Like younger is like 18 and they're not going to do that. So 21 and 27, the women around them that are attractive, they're inundated with each other, okay? And so they're getting together, they're inviting each other over to the new apartment. They're taking vacations together, they're traveling, they're having a great time. And for the woman, she's inundated with young, attractive, successful, quality men. This is her time to cash in. But the impediment and the detriment is that she's so young, she doesn't realize that the party is not going to last forever. The clock will strike midnight. So this is her time to get married off. This is the easiest time in her life that she's going to be able to marry a quality man. She can pair herself with a man in her age group and she can present herself the right way, meaning that she doesn't have any leverage over him and she's not going to play any stupid games. And she can pair herself with a quality man in this age group and she can get married young. It doesn't happen often, but it happens. But if she's smart, she's going to cash in her chips while the casino is in her favor, meaning she has youth and beauty. That's the casino. That's the currency right there to get a quality man in her age range, 27 and younger. But in order to cash in her chips, a lot of times what I see these young women, and even when I was that age, they were cashing in their chips, but they were doing it very intelligently. They weren't getting with like the super, super attractive 21 to 27-year-old men. Because those men, though they're arrogant, they understand their place in the food chain. They're playing, especially if they have a little bit of money, they have some success. I'm just thinking back to my mindset when I was that young and had books selling all over the world, and driving Benzes and, had a little bit of money in my pocket. Like, I was down for whatever. And I wasn't really pausing. I was meeting good women, but I wasn't really pausing like that. I would meet a woman from time to time that could capture my attention, but I wasn't really pausing. And see, that's that 21 to 27-year-old woman. She's not going to bat too high. She's not going to go after the super tall, sexy, attractive, successful man if she wants to get married. She's going to get a moderately attractive man. He's still attractive, still has some things going for himself, mainly on the successful side. But she might have some good women in her ear, a mother, an aunt, elders that are telling her this is the best time of your life to cash in. And so the smart, intelligent, cerebral, easy to be around, mentally healthy young woman, she's going to get a husband from 21 and 27, maybe even 28, but I'll get to that. And he might not be the most super sexually attractive man, but he's successful. He's attractive enough that she's attracted to him. And he's going to choose her. He's going to give her the experience that garners a husband that she can go the distance with, because she's smart and she has some good voices in her ear. And so she'll cash in her chips. This is the easiest time in her life it is to get married. She'll cash in her chips. And she'll get that man to propose to her. And they'll start that young family, and they'll go through their stuff and this and that, but they'll find their way. Because they both, on both sides, have good quality people in their ear. They're not going to, betray each other. They're going to have challenges, because marriage brings that. But by and large, they're going to find their way. And she was intelligent because she cast her chips in while the casino was still in her favor. And that's the man that she's going to pair herself with, because that super attractive man, I mean, she might get lucky and be able to pin him down. But for him, his party is just beginning. She's on a clock with youth and beauty, fertility. That man isn't on the clock. That man is not on the clock. So she might get that top tier man. She might. But mainly she's going to settle with a man that is attractive, but he's more successful. He's more stable. He's more of a representation if I can build a family with him. But he's not the overly sexually attractive man. But she's smart. She cashes in her chips while the casino is still in her favor. So let's bump the age group up, okay? 28 is when the rebrand happens, okay? The rebrand is 21 to 27. She's been having her fun. She's been in the space of quality, sexually attractive men her age. She's been unable to pin one down, but she's inundated by so many in her friend groups and her networks that she feels like that man really isn't that far away. But then at 28, that man that's getting a little bit older, that super sexually attractive, successful man that she wants, he's getting a little bit older. And so when she hits 28, now time begins to work against her, because 28, she's getting closer to 30. And as that man is 28 and he's getting closer to 30, he's just catching his stride, especially in the black community. A lot of black men really don't catch their financial beginnings of their stride until 30. And the black women will catch their stride a little faster, but that's based on the supremacist power structure. I'm not going to say the name of the structure. They make it so there's an imbalance. But that man, 28, going on 30, he's catching his stride. Has his own place. And the issue, she's 28, he's 28. The issue is now he's looking younger. I'm not saying he's looking younger in appearance, which he still looks young. He's looking younger in terms of the women that he's going to entertain. So now she's getting overlooked. Reality hits him at 28. I promise you that. Those men that were at the kickbacks and the social group, the friend group and all that stuff, now the 28-year-old women, like, well, why is he dating that 22-year-old girl? Why is he dating that 23-year-old chick? That's when the tables turn. And that 28-year-old dude is rolling with them 22 and 23-year-old chicks. And he's a little bit older to them, but he still looks really good. He's young and he has more success than those young guys her age. So he has mass appeal. She's still choosing him with her lust. And so that 28-year-old woman and that 28 super sexually attractive man that she wants, he's out of her reach now. He's dating younger. And that's when the transition happens right there. That's when that transition happens. And then she hits 30. And then now, even the guys that are mid 30s, late 30s, she's an older woman at this point. Because those guys that are successful, that are keeping themselves looking good and they're sexually attractive, 36, 37, they're still looking at the 23-year-old girls. And why are they looking at them? Because the 23-year-old girls are looking at them with lust. I remember being out at the club at 36. I mean, I had an amazing year at 36, man. It was my prime. It was just like everything just came together. You know, I was still looking young, had more money than I ever had, driving luxury cars on TV, all that stuff, man. And I'm out at the club and you meet that 23-year-old girl. She's not leaving with you. She's calling you right after the club like, yeah, I don't normally do this, but yeah, I'm parked over here. Come over here. And next thing you know, you back at the spot. She's like, oh, I don't normally do this. And you're not just having sex one time with that 23-year-old girl. Uh-oh, I gotta hurry this up, man. My charge is not working. You're not just having sex with her one time, but she wants to be in your space and she wants to be your girlfriend. And so that's when that 28-year-old woman and, you know, between that mid-30s woman, now they're getting lost. They're just getting lost in the shuffle because the attractive men that they're still attracted to are garnering the interest of the youngest, most gorgeous women in the prime of their beauty. And so let's get to the sell. If a woman is in the prime of her beauty and her youth, she doesn't have to sell you anything. She doesn't have to sell you anything. Youth and beauty is on her side. She is the experience. But 28, and you know, we start getting to those mid-30s women, that's when the panic starts to set in. Fertility clock. The likelihood of getting married. All of that stuff begins to settle in. And so they begin to sell you a false sense of themselves, okay? That's why you really have to, you have to bypass the hard sell. That's when the hard sell comes into the equation because time is working against them. Excuse me. Time is working against them at this point. And so that's when the dating with intention comes into the equation. They're still young, relatively. They're still having casual sex, but they're trying to pin down a husband. That first husband window has escaped them after 28. Then the next husband window. So they're selling you that, oh, I don't do this. You have to take me here. You have to do this. And it's a desperation plea. Dating with intention. And then what they're doing is they're meeting guys, and some guys, they understand they can't even sell that too. That's a sexy, attractive man. They have to shit or get off the pot. But then the other guys, they might be moderately attractive and successful. She's going to sell them to dating with intention because she's trying to pin down a husband. And so that's a trick bag from like 28 to about mid-30s. And that's when the identity shift happens right there, okay? And I want to speed this up. So when I talk about the hard sell and bring her to the front of the congregation, it's really for this woman right here. Late mid-30s, 36 and beyond. That 36 to that late 40s woman, this is when they make the hard sell right here. By that time, they probably divorced or they've overlooked quality men that they could have paired themselves with. And so they still desire the men in their age range that are super sexually attractive and successful, because by that time they've built up their money, they're taking vacations, they're posting the brunches, they're deep in debt, but we ain't gonna get into all that. And they're trying to reclaim the time that they wasted overlooking good men. A lot of these women, these late 30s, late 40s women, this is the bracket that I'm really gonna focus on. These women have had quality men or they've left quality men, be it relationships or marriages. They elevated themselves. They had good men in this space. Maybe they were good fathers, good partners, but they somehow convinced themselves that they can do better. This is the Tia Mowry gang right here. The Tia Mowry gang is Tia Mowry, if you've heard my previous videos, Tracy Ellis Ross, and other women like that who are getting older, leaving quality men or squandering quality men, and all of a sudden They're making hard sales to men. And these women will leave their husbands. They'll elevate themselves financially. They'll get the extra degree. But by this time, they have the residue of bad decisions. Children, they're getting older. Like, they don't have the same place in the food chain that they had in the mid-30s and the 20s. So they have a situation that they have to sell to you. And if a woman has to sell you a situation, it's because she knows that she has a situation that she has to sell. That young woman didn't have to sell you anything. She was the situation. But this particular woman has to sell you a situation. And that's why you have to bypass the hard sell and bring her to the front of the congregation. They're older, they're more subtle, but they're desperate. They left the quality man that wasn't as productive as they think that they've ascended to. They think they deserve more than what they actually qualify for. So they'll drop off some quality men, whether they're in relationships, marriages, and things like that. They might have a kid or two, things like that. Just follow me. And once they do this, then they are looking to get in the space of extremely sexually attractive, successful quality men. And they get in the space of these men. They do get these men, but they only get them sexually. They're taking hard dick and goodbyes. And they're finding out that the men that they left were the best men that were going to accept their situation because they created the situation with them. That situation had appealed to them because that man viewed her as his first choice. But she left the man that viewed her as the first choice in search of a man that she deems as her first choice. That man is giving her hard dick and goodbyes. They elevate themselves, become entrepreneurs, dabble in real estate, even if they have a job, but they're in the space of more successful men. And these men pass them around. They thought they can pin one of these men down. They have the hope of a relationship with these men, but these men have access to younger, more beautiful women. So these women are literally placeholders. There's something to enjoy. And they thought that they could leave their husbands and those quality men that they were dealing with that viewed them as their first choice and get something better. But all they get is hard dick and goodbye. And so she's going to meet you, let's say you're, 46, 45 or younger. I'm not that old, but, you're still young enough if you keep yourself looking good and you're successful enough that you can get a young tenant, something that's nice, something that's your first choice. They're meeting these men. And these men are giving them hard dick and goodbyes. They're in a network of successful men. They might have joined a network marketing group or, networking spaces and things like that. And they're finding the men that they left their husbands and their men for, but these men are giving them hard dick and goodbyes. This is where you enter the equation. You meet her. She literally chases you because you're the representation of what she left her man for. You're the last hope before she completely ages out of the game. And she's going to sell you, oh, my kids are older and, I got one left, but he's about to leave and my situation is good. And, my ex-husband, he took the divorce good. They selling some shit because the situation is so fucked up, they have to sell it. But when they sell you that, then that's when you have to let her know, I see through it all. Because your actual dating pool is much younger, less baggage. And so you have to let her know she's selling you the manipulation that goes against the actuality of her situation, right? And you have to call it to the front of the congregation. You have to say, listen, this is our intersection. We have to have something casual. And sometimes they'll act like they don't even hear you. They'll agree to it, but then they'll try to put you in a situation where they have to bring you under submission because their fantasy as they're getting older is to reclaim the glory days of their youth where they could bring men under submission, feed them shit, and the men would stick around. So you have to call it to the front of the congregation. Say, hey, you're following me around, you're blowing up my phone, but this is what it's going to be. We're going to have a casual sexual situation because that's our only intersection because you have access to the top tier young women that you really want. And so you have to put them in a situation where they're trying to sell you their situation. You have to call them to the front of the congregation. You have to call them to the front of the congregation and say, hey, I'm not going for the situation you're trying to sell me. You're out here having casual sex. You're getting hard dick and goodbyes. I see right through you. You don't say that verbatim, but you say it through your energy and your language. And so those women have to shit or get off the pot. They made their bed. They squandered their youth. And they're playing a desperate game to elevate because they want to look good for leaving their husbands who were good men but that weren't that productive. They want to look good for leaving a quality man that was viewing her as his first choice. They want to look good. So they always want to elevate, but it's nothing but hard dick and goodbyes once they meet the man that is a representation of elevation from the man that they left. And you have to call it to the front of the congregation. You have to tell her exactly what it is. And she has to agree to it, not just with her words, but with her actions. Because sometimes they'll agree with their words, but then they still try to string you along, make you give them offerings, but then you have to put your foot down right before you exit and say, this is what it's going to be. Because they're in the space of the quality men that they left their husbands for. But those men, I promise you, hard dick and goodbye. They're choosing other, younger, more attractive women right in their face. And there's nothing wrong with what you have to do because you have a level of access. They had access at one point in time in their life, but they don't have it anymore. Now you have the access. And I promise you, this is firsthand experience. I'm in some amazing networks. You know, I've had the luxury of being successful for 20 years and writing books and sell all over the world. This is how it plays out. I've seen some things. And these women do get in these networks. They get around these men that they left their husbands and their quality men for. I promise you, these men are giving them hard dick and goodbye. And some of them are lying to them and manipulating them, and they're finding out on the back end that they got a younger woman when those men disappear. You don't lie to these women. A masculine, sexy, attractive man, you don't lie. You talk in straight lines, you present yourself, and you give her an opportunity to make a choice. And so you have to present the choice to her. When she makes the hard sell, you call her to the front of the congregation. This is what you have to do to join my church. We're going to have a sexual, casual relationship because that's your only intersection. You might want to start a family. You know, she probably already has a pre-existing family. And I'm not trying to be negative because some of these women, as they get older and they may have even left quality men, they still can pull themselves together, evolve, learn what men are looking for, and still pin down a quality man. I'm not saying it's over, but the majority of them move this way. They move with manipulation. They're selling you. They're making a hard sell with their situation. But all these men are doing in various ways is just calling her to the front of the congregation. She'll say, oh, men take me out. Men roll out the red carpet. Men do this, but you're fucking single. What does that mean? All the stuff that she's telling you that men are doing, if you sit down and listen to her long enough, she's going to tell you that these men are dropping her off. Having sex with her and dropping her off. They're not doing none of that shit that she's selling. That's why you have to bypass the hard sell and call her to the front of the congregation. She's looking for a fucking idiot. She's looking for a sucker. And I'm telling you, as you elevate, you become a more sexy, attractive, successful man, you get to eat the spoils of your evolution. So don't let her sell you something that is false. Whatever she's selling you as she's getting older, she has to sell it because it's not her reality. You call her to the front of the congregation. You let her know what the exact intersection is that you two have. And this is what you have to do to join my church. I'm not coming to your side. Your side has gone. Your ship has sailed. You let her know exactly what she has to do. And this is if you choose to even entertain her. Because as a sexy, attractive man, you're getting older, you still have access. I promise you, man, I've never had a girlfriend a day over 27, man. I've never talked marriage with a woman a day over 27. I was fucking 40 and had a 24-year-old girl ask me to be in a relationship, offered herself to me. I'm not telling you falsehoods. I'm giving you reality. I don't want you caught up in that trick bag. And you have to deal with the residue of her bad decisions. That's why she has to sell it. And if a woman has to sell a situation to you, it's a representation of a diminished quality of life for you. and it's taking you away from your actual dating pool. Stick in your dating pool. Stay there. Because that's what you deserve. That is your spoils of war. Once you truly worked on yourself and you've elevated yourself, the tables turn. After 30, that man's just getting better. If he has a vision, he's more successful. He's coming into his own. He hasn't even hit his prime. You know, as a man, I'm telling you, you know, at 42, the beginning of your prime is going to be about like 36, 37, 35. Everything's going to come together. Your metabolism is still good. You're still sexually virile. You're still looking young, and you're more successful. So that gives you access. Stay where your access is. And when these women try to come and give you the hard sell, you just tell them what they have to do to join the church. That's the only way they can be in your space. I don't know any other way to say it, man. I hope I've been as clear as possible. And I'm just bringing you a representation of women through their different age progressions. This is the reality of it, okay? So when she makes that hard sell, you don't accept it, you bypass it, and you call her to the front of the congregation. This is how you join my church. This has been Matthew C. Horne, author, motivational speaker, and dating coach. This brings you a video about bypassing her hard sell and calling her to the front of the congregation. It's brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available at my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to continue to push me up the algorithm so I can continue to bring you these elevated messages. And if you want me to make a custom video, you all are always in the comments. You have to make a donation of $150 or more to my PayPal and my Cash App information that's in my video description. Just because you leave a comment in my video and you want me to talk about something, I'm not going to make that video until you make a donation. I will make the videos if you join my community. I make every video that every member of the community proposes to me. It is strictly in the community. But right here on YouTube, this is how it plays out. You want a video, you pay your $150, you know I'm spitting that real. Who's spitting it like me? Let's be for real. You pay that $150 in the note feature on PayPal or Cash App, you leave your video topic, and I'll make your video in 24 hours or less. If your video topic is more nuanced, more in depth than just leaving a message on PayPal or Cash App in the note feature, you still make your $150 more donation, and then you email me at matt@matthewchorne.com with your more in-depth description of what you want me to make your video on. And your video will be on my channel, Matthew C. Horne Dating, in 24 hours or less. And if my message and my video has been of value to you tonight, and your thought process have been elevated, and you're better and you're more clarified, have more clarity after encountering my message, I want you to make a donation to my PayPal and my Cash App information that's in my video description. I never tell you what to donate. Donate according to how you've been impacted, and I never take your donations lightly. You all continue to help me to elevate and grow. I'm thankful as I continue to help you to elevate and grow by bringing this content. Very even exchange. Keep me here. And if you're in need of coaching, if my voice resonates with you, and you have different challenges and impediments in the dating space that you've been unable to overcome, I'm your dating coach. If you're in need of dating coaching, you email me at matt@matthewchorne.com. It's all in the video description, my email. And you leave your name, your phone number, and whatever issue that you're facing in the dating space. You leave coaching in the subject matter of the email. In the body of the email is your name and your phone number, whatever issue that you're facing in the dating space. I'll do an assessment and I'll email you back promptly with the terms of the coaching. And then once you accept the terms, we'll set a time and date and the coaching will commence. Easy, streamlined. Breakthroughs happening in the one-on-one coaching with me. Also, I'm still looking to fill the remaining slots of the 5 individuals who want to take a year-long coaching journey with me through the Matthew C. Horne Dating and Mentorship year-long program. In this program, you're going to get an exact assessment of where you are and where you want to be. And you're going to get a minimum of 3 coaching calls per week, in addition to 24-hour access to me as well. It's going to be tailored to you. I'm going to assess where you are. I'm going to begin the curriculum, the coaching right there, and I'm going to take you beyond where you see yourself. The 24-hour access includes if you're in a situation, you have a question about something, you're about to go on a date, you're have a question about a woman you're dealing with, just anything, dating, life in general, you can have access to me for 24 hours a day. That's why I can only take on 5 people, because of the amount I'm giving myself, the bandwidth that I'm giving to you. We'll also meet up in person once I've been coaching you, and I trust that you've been elevating and growing no matter where you are in the world, because I do coach men all over the world. We will meet up in person. I can coach you in person. We can go out. We can bars, clubs, lounges, wherever. We'll go out and I can assess you in person and I can coach you in person. It's a very personalized space. So if you're interested in a year-long coaching journey with me and you want to go from where you are to where you want to be over the course of a year, you email me at matt@matthewchorne.com. You leave mentorship in the subject matter of the email. In the body of the email, you leave your name, your phone number, where you are in the dating space, and where you want to be. Tell me about yourself. I'll do an assessment and then I will call you. And it will determine if we're a good fit to work with one another over the course of a year. You're going to have to invest in yourself. Don't email me if you're not willing to financially invest in yourself, okay? I'm just being honest. Don't waste your time. This costs money. But the reward is something that money cannot be calculated by. You give me 1 year of your life will never be the same. Lastly, my dating coach community on the school platform. I have a monthly membership community on the school platform. In that community, you'll get 2 exclusive dating coaching videos per week. I allow members of the community to give me topics to make videos on, and I put your videos in the community. In addition to that, every Monday night, 8 p.m., we have a Zoom call. You have direct access to me once a week. I do a monologue on a particular topic on the Zoom call, and then after we discuss the monologue, for the remainder of the hour, you can ask me whatever you want to ask me about anything in your life, dating space, whatever. I'm yours for an hour. You get 1 hour of dating coaching. Everyone gets a turn to ask their questions. There's nothing like it. Every video I make exclusive to the community is archived in the community. Every Zoom call that I've had over the course of these months is archived in the community. You can join the community, you can catch up, and then you can jump right on that Zoom with me and propose topics to me. You can jump right on that Zoom at 8 p.m. every Monday. It's an amazing space. So to sign up for that community, I want everyone to sign up. My Matthew C. Horne Dating Coach community. The link to sign up will be pinned to the top of the comments as well as in the video description. Join my dating coach community. Amazing things happen right there. I've enjoyed spending some time with you all tonight. And please just remember that you have to bypass her hard sell and call her to the front of the congregation. As she gets older, she gets more desperate. She can hit you with whatever manipulation that she's going to hit you with. But you have to understand the reality of the choices that she made, and you do not absorb any misdirections, any missteps that she's made, because she has certain windows. But as a sexy, attractive man, I'm not going to say you have an infinite window, but your window is just beginning when hers is closing. So when she makes the hard sell, then that's when you have to call her to the front of the congregation. If she's going to enter your space and remain in your space, it has to be very specific terms, because you're supposed to have eyes for and appeal to the most gorgeous young women in the prime of everything that they can offer you. This is a message for the sexy, attractive man, because if you're not that man, you have to settle. But these are not the men in my community. These are not the men who watch me. If you become the best and you're aging like wine, and you're becoming more successful, you have more of an awareness of yourself, you deserve everything that is aligned with the man that you ascended to. Don't accept the hard sell. Call her to the front of the congregation. I see you all soon.